back, and we're visiting with Ben Bergquam, a courageous, intrepid, and extremely competent reporter covering the beat that is arguably one of the most dangerous in the world today, namely along the border. He's these days, we find him in Arizona, and it's hazardous on this side of the border too. And maybe we can talk a little bit about that, Ben. But before we do, you were describing the effects of the Biden administration's policies bringing many thousands of people here now, I guess, on a daily basis, and letting them into the country, dispersing them all over. A federal judge has, however, interposed a temporary injunction, as I understand it, on the removal of one of the tools that the previous administration, and to some extent even this one, has used to try to stem that or at least slow down that rising tide, that invasion that you've been covering. What do we make of that ruling? Is it likely to be still in force on the 23rd of May, when I gather it's supposed to be lifted by the administration?
Well, I can't say whether or not it will or won't. I'm guessing the Biden and Washington D.C. the administration are going to do everything they can to lift it. They're being pushed by the fringe radical leftist part of the party, and that's really the driving force of the Democratic Party right now. These are the people that go around chanting "No borders, no walls, no USA" at all. They don't believe America has the right to have sovereignty. That is the force that is behind Joe Biden and all of his decisions related to the border right now. Whether or not Title 42 goes away or not, the damage has already been done. What we're seeing coming up is going to be it's historic, it's unprecedented, and I'll just tell you, America's not ready for it. I was interviewing folks down. I was like you said, I was in the Darien Gap yesterday, and we were interviewing people from all over the country, or excuse me, all over the world. They were flying in from Somalia, from Kazakhstan. I had two guys from Nepal. Just about every country in the world now has gotten the word that all you have to do is come across the border illegally, and you get in. And many from Pakistan, from Bangladesh, from Afghanistan that are basically. They were just interviewing folks down in the Darien Gap, and the crazy thing is these people are coming from all over the world. It's not just, you think, Central America and Mexico and South America. We were talking to people that had flown in from Somalia and from Kazakhstan and Afghanistan and Pakistan and Bangladesh and India, and even Nepal. The word has already spread. America is free for the taking if you can get there. So whether or not
Yeah.
Title 42 goes away, it's really at this point irrelevant. The floodgates are open as long as they're able to stay once they get here. As long as the perception is that they have a chance of staying once they get here, then they're going to continue to flood in, and especially as we make it easier for them to do that. That
Right.
basically we've rolled out the red carpet and said, just come on in with this controlled flow mechanism.
Yeah, I listened appalled to a U.S. representative from California by the name of Tony Cardenas this morning on NPR, talking about how this is all going to be fine as long as we just give them the vaccine when they come across the border. Public health is a serious problem, of course, and will be with or without the vaccines. But that's only one aspect of the dangers that are associated with this. Not least of which, as you've mentioned, a number of countries that wish us harm,
Right. Well, there
sending
many.
people here.
This we could go on a whole hour long about this subject alone. It's not just COVID. So the small little village there that I was with, the Imbra people, they said malaria now. They believe it's coming from Africa. It's making a resurgence. They're getting 18 to 20 cases per day out of this small camp of
Mm.
just a couple hundred people. That's out of the illegals that are coming through. They're just flooding through. So we've created a pandemic of malaria now for their community. We also have yellow fever, dengue fever, Zika virus, and some drug resistant tuberculosis. There are all kinds of other diseases that are coming through this. Not to mention the countries.
Hazards,
Yes, not to mention the countries
hazards
that hate
for
us.
Yeah, hazards for our border patrol, to say
Absolutely,
nothing of the rest of the country
absolutely.
as well. We're going to run out of time before we run out of things to talk with you about. I did just want to note that in the course of the day today, the Supreme Court of the United States heard the case for restoring the policy of keeping these people on the Mexican side of the border while their applications for amnesty are processed. Ben, how important is it that we get that remain in Mexico policy reinstated?
Well, it's probably the most important policy that President Trump put into effect. But the policy only works if you have a lever against Mexico imposed on it as well. And that's what President Trump did. He imposed a 5% tariff and then came back and said, well, we won't impose that tariff if you allow us to do this remain in Mexico policy. That was how he was able to get Mexico to come along with it. The remain in Mexico policy only works if Mexico allows it to work. And everything Joe Biden and the Democrats are doing right now, they're saying, because they've already been ordered to reinstate it, and they're saying that they've reinstated it, but basically the catch 22 on it is they're saying, oh, we're reinstating it, we're sending it back to Mexico, and Mexico's saying they don't want them, and so now we're stuck with them. And so that you have to have the will to make it work, and they just simply don't have the will.
The will to make it work and the
That's
leverage
right.
to infect it if you do have the will. I wanted to talk to you, and we're going to have you back very, very soon, Ben, to get into this cartel business. One just quick question. States have the authority to defend themselves against invasion if the federal government fails to do that. Some talk about state guards or state defense forces being stood up and empowered for this mission. Just 15 seconds. Good idea. Necessary. Where do you think that's going?
It's the last defense. It has to happen, or else our country's gone. That's actually why I'm
Yeah.
down here in Arizona, meeting with Kerry Lake tomorrow. That is what has to happen. States have to take their sovereignty back if the federal government won't do it.
Amen. Kerry Lake running for governor down there. Thank you so much for your time today, Ben Bergquam. Godspeed, my friend, in this important work you do. There's really nobody who is on the beat quite like you are, and we appreciate the chance to visit with you from time to time and to watch you on Real America's Voice the rest of the time. I know you'll keep up that good work and carry on.
Thank you, sir.
Godspeed again. And I want to say thanks to the rest of you for joining us for this edition of Securing America. I hope you feel better equipped to help us in doing just that. It's a vital mission for reasons that you've heard about in this program and every other one. So please stay tuned and also check out our web resource, securingamerica.tv. And then, as I'm fond of saying, I hope you'll go forth and multiply.